Welcome to Chaska High School. It's Tuesday Night Hoops here on the WatchCHBN.com. Ryan Paul joined tonight by the one and only Marney Gellner of Fox Sports North. Marney, it's great to have you on. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, Ryan, I was honored. I've been waiting for the invitation. I live down the road. I have two kids in the Chaska basketball program, one in this girls program. So we follow this team. We practice in this high school. It's only natural that we're here for a broadcast. So I'm happy to do it. I'm thrilled.
Regrettably, I haven't had you on before, so it's great to finally get to share this basketball game with you. It's going to be a good one tonight. Chaska girls hosting the number 12 ranked Robbinsdale Cooper Hawks. It's a battle of undefeateds tonight, Marty.
Yeah, and for the Hawks, I mean, just looking at the schedule and the margin of victory to be 6-0. Well, both teams are undefeated, but for Chaska, those Hawks, to have an average margin of victory over 40 points. What is it, 40?
Yeah, 46 points, yeah.
You don't even know really what you have. You haven't
Right.
been tested yet. Your offense and your defense, you haven't really seen what you have. So I don't know if Tara Seifert has a true handle on what this team can do. And so hopefully tonight is the first test. This week is really a measuring
Right.
stick with Minnetonka on Friday.
It is a big week, as Marnie said. Hawks will have Minnetonka on Friday. That game will be right back here on WatchCHBN.com. Cooper, obviously, up-and-coming program, Marty. I know it's a matchup that we see twice a year in the Metro West Conference, but Chaska has Mallory Heyer, who I know you know real well, and Mallory's headed to the University of Minnesota.
Yeah.
She's only a junior right now, but she's a very talented basketball player.
I mean, this team is loaded, but yeah, that is the leader, Mallory, with her length and her skill, and I know she's been playing a lot of post so far this season, but that's because that's what the matchups have dictated. When you're winning by 40 points, you don't need your power forward to step out and shoot threes, but she can, and she can stretch the floor. She can handle the basketball. She is a handful for any program.
Chaska also has a plethora of talent otherwise. Kennedy Sanders runs the point for him primarily. She's again only a sophomore. Chaska, I mean,
Kaylee Van Epps,
a
Kendall
senior.
Carm, yes.
I mean, yes, they go very deep. Tara Seifert has had the chance to use a lot of her bench this year, and I think that's a key for developing a successful program.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And I think Chaska runs a good 7-8 deep, and when you start bringing in your first sub, you hope that your quality of play doesn't drop off. Your second sub, now we're getting a little closer. But when you can go 2, 3, maybe even 4 subs,
Absolutely.
and you don't notice a deep drop off, and your starters are that good, that is a really good sign for a team. This is a deep Chaska team.
Chaska has gone deep into their bench all of their 6 games so far this year, as we mentioned earlier. Hawks are winning by an average of 46 points per night through 6 Metro West Conference games. It's going to be a good one tonight between Chaska and Robbinsdale Cooper. The two Hawks face off here. Coming up next, Ryan Paul, Marney Gellner of Fox Sports North, coming up in just a couple minutes on WatchCHBN.com. Thanks for joining us. And welcome back to Chaska High School. A big one here tonight on the www.watchchbn.com Chaska Hawks Broadcast Network for multiple reasons. First, we have the Hawks and the Hawks in a Metro West Conference battle. Chaska hosting Cooper here, 2 undefeated teams. But most importantly, we have Marney Gellner joining us from Fox Sports North. Marney, once
I don't
again.
know if that's most important, Ryan.
I would say for a lot of people here tonight, they definitely appreciate you coming on, and it's great that you've taken time out of your busy NBA schedule for you to join us here.
Well, I'm happy to be here, and I wish I could be here more often because of schedule-wise, but also because of just restrictions.
Yeah.
And my name was on a pass list tonight, so I got to come in. Otherwise, it's just driving by, waving, and watching games on the Chaska Hawks Broadcast Networks. I'm so glad you guys are doing this.
Obviously, you recognize Marnie's voice from Timberwolves broadcast currently. Obviously, Marnie, a prominent figure on Twins broadcast, as well as a play-by-play voice on Lynx broadcast. So
right, yes.
you have a lot more experience doing this than I do. So
hey, you're in control today. I'm just going to follow your lead. You throw them up and make them easy for me to hit.
I'll do my best. And I'll start you off with one here right now. And Mallory Heyer is really hard to miss anyway. Tell us a little bit about what you know about the Hawks sophomore.
Well, I know, Mallory Heyer is going to be the focal point for most teams, for sure for Cooper tonight. But when you have like a Kaylee Van Epps who was just introduced, and you have Kennedy Sanders, and you have Kendall Carmen, and you have these pieces around her, it just takes off a lot of the pressure. But I know she's been working on her outside game a lot, working on the outside shot, working on the ball handling, and trying to develop that part of her game. That's where she's headed. She joins the Gophers, she's going to be more of a 3, maybe a 4, but probably a 3, and so she's trying to make sure that part of her game is developed. And it helps her here at this level, too, because then she's not just limited to a post-up player and this player that is just playing in the paint.
Right, yep. Well,
anything you can do to stretch your game is good.
We saw it on our last broadcast when Eric Krauscher and I worked together, or Blake Herring, rather, and I worked together. Mallory was dominant down low in the post, and then while we were talking about her, she pulled it out and drained a deep 3. So she's definitely a multifaceted player, and she's gonna do great things for another year here at Chaska, and then go on to play for head coach Lindsay Whalen at the U of M. For Chaska, head coach Tara Seifert, I know you got a chance to talk to her this week, Marney. In her 14th year here at Chaska, she has a 244 and 131 record here, 3-time conference championship. 3-time conference champion, including last year winning the Metro West.
And just coming 1 win short of the state tournament.
Yep.
Last time the Chaska Hawks were in the state tournament was 2010. And this year is another year. This would be Kaylee Van Epps' senior year. This team is going to be loaded for a while.
Right.
But this year and next year, I would think, are the prime years if Chaska is going to get back to the state tournament when it would happen. But tonight is the start of a really big week for Tara Seifert and this Chaska team to just see what they have.
Absolutely. Chaska with Cooper here right now, and they'll have Minnetonka right back here on Friday. The Cooper Hawks donning the all-white uniforms with blue and orange trimming and numbering. Start out with the ball here. Andrea Tribble has it, and she'll run the point here for Cooper. Josephine Igarigay has it outside. Now she dishes it back up top for Tribble, who resets for Cooper. Bree Frazier, the sophomore, is picked up by the senior Kaylee Van Epps on the far wing. Now it's back over for Wheeler, who gets to start here for Cooper. I'm sorry, that's Igarigay who gets to start here for Cooper at the 3.
It's good defense by Chaska on this first possession.
Absolutely.
That's why Cooper had to work the ball around so much. Kaylee Van Epps stepped out of bounds on the line there, but otherwise fantastic defensive possession for the Chaska Hawks. Kiera Wheeler actually fell to the ground, so Cooper had one less option.
Obviously, the big number that many will see, and people like us have pointed out here a couple times in this broadcast, is that Chaska wins by an average margin of 46 points. But, I mean, possibly even more impressive is they're only allowing 34 points per night. They held a Kennedy team to just 11.
And I don't care who you're playing. That's just good defense, and it's a really good mental challenge too, to stay up and stay locked in when you are up 40 points.
Wheeler backing down higher. You don't see that very often. And Cooper's on the board first with a 2-point basket. Wheeler is Cooper's leading scorer with just over 20 per contest through their first 7.
Yep, and that's going to be the matchup to watch all night is Heyer and Wheeler.
First 3-pointer from Sanders is left short. Down low for Heyer, who's double teamed, and they'll say she was fouled and send her to the free throw line. Chaska's first real chance at a bucket will come from the charity stripe. Mallory Heyer for 2.
And that was a good move by Heyer just to even split the defense because there wasn't a lot of room to work with, and she was going to her left, and she's a right-handed player, so to be even able to find that space to work in and to draw 2 is a nice work by Heyer.
Heyer through 6 games, 23.2 points per night. She's been the leading scorer the last 3 years for Chaska. Actually, her and Kaylee Van Epps have gone number 1 and number 2 in that category for the last 3 years. Her career high came once last year against Kennedy, and once in her freshman year. Actually, her first game of her freshman year, she opened up with 35 points against Edina. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Chaska starts off with a full court press defensively, too, and they have a couple different presses. And they haven't had to use it much or use it in small spurts because you don't want to press a team when you're up big. It's just not a good look. So you try it out, you work on it, and then you put it away for the night. And we might see more of it here if this game is a challenge.
Obviously, 2 top 15 teams here tonight. Chaska ranked number 3 in the latest polls. Cooper at 12. Both teams undefeated here. If you're just joining us, welcome to Chaska High School. Ryan, Paul, Marney, Gellner with you. Driving through, Igarage no good on her lay-in. Rebound by Kelsey Willems, the senior.
Really great half-court defense again by Chaska to force that tough shot. Then a nice answer from Sanders. Sorry, Ryan, you're doing the play-by-play. I stepped on it.
No
Kennedy
worries.
Sanders for 2.
That's no problem at all. You go as much as you want. And back on the other end, Wheeler has it outside. Big junior for Cooper. She's backing down once again against Higher.
And you can see Wheeler is intent on using the physical game against Mallory Higher, and Mal's trying to give a little space. She doesn't want to get back down, so she's giving Wheeler some space to work with.
Obviously, a big aspect is fouls in a game like this. Cooper gets called for a 5-second violation, but Mallory Higher is one player who you cannot have get in foul trouble, especially early in a basketball game.
Yeah, and especially when you're facing a team that has a dominant big like Cooper does in Wheeler. But those first few defensive possessions from Chaska have been incredible.
Hawks come back down after the violation and turnover, leading 3-0 still. Willems from the point, dishes out on the near side for Carmen.
And Higher's got her woman pinned, and they finally see her. Mallory Higher had the defender pinned most of that possession while they swung it around, and the Hawks took advantage. It's a size mismatch.
5-2, Hawks up by 3 here early on Cooper.
I'm going to say man once in a while since I'm in the middle of Wolves season. Oh, that is a nice move from Wheeler. That's a really athletic move under the basket, scoop it up with the right hand.
Well, if there's one thing that I don't want to do, it's get you out of your rhythm for the professional basketball team that you cover. So you do your thing. That's definitely happening here tonight. Foul called against Relaford. Chaska will have the ball at the 28-foot line here with a chance to extend their 1-point lead. Under 15 to play here from Chaska High School. Obviously, attendance restrictions, only 2 attendees per player as Chaska turns it over. But
just a half-second late on the pass. Van Epps was open, but it wasn't for long.
Relaford with the steal, a senior, averaging just under 6 per night so far. She's picked up outside by Kelsey Willems. Cooper already with 1 5-second violation, came close on that one as well. Here's Tribble driving in, double teamed. She got fouled, and they will likely get Kelsey Willems for contact down low, and it'll send the Cooper senior to the free throw line.
And it was Willems coming in with the help defense because Kaylee Van Epps had her and was shuffling along with her and staying with her, and then Willems came in for the help, and that's where the foul came in. It's really quiet in here on free throws, doesn't it?
It's bizarre. It definitely, most of the time when the visiting team's shooting, you'll hear like the Chaska students or something, barking out or something. But definitely a different vibe. All persons in the gym tonight are required to wear masks. So.
And I don't see any students. There's no band.
Right.
There should be like a fake band, just kind of ambient noise
Pump
that we
in
can.
some crowd noise, yeah.
Maybe speakers with that, just constant cheering.
Chaska back with the ball. They nearly turn it over. Sanders is able to recover, though. She drives around inside the paint, tried for the Euro step, but lost the ball on the way up. They say it was last touched by Robbinsdale Cooper, and Chaska will get a baseline inbound.
That's a good take by Sanders, too, and I know she is not afraid to drive in among the trees. She's not afraid to welcome contact.
Higher up with the right off the glass for a pair.
Nice move, nice touch, nice finish. And when you don't bring any help defense and you let Mallory Higher go one-on-one, a lot of times that's going to be the result.
Under 14 here, Chaska up by a basket. Good flow so far to this basketball game. Cooper with it, rolling off a screen is Bree Frazier. She's shut down, though, by Carmen.
A good switch on the screen there and good communication by Chaska.
Wheeler outside. She's going to try to back down Higher once again. Hawks cut her off on the double team, and they say she walked with it.
Yeah, but that's really nice defense. And I was chatting with Mallory Higher a couple of days ago just about how to play against someone who is so physical and just has size on you. And that's what she was saying is she can't get back down. And so she doesn't want to play defensively really tight against Wheeler. And then you look at Wheeler having to drop off of Higher and giving her a foot to shoot that shot.
Higher missed the three, but Kennedy Sanders was there to clean it up down low, and kind of a role reversal there.
Exactly. That works, though, and that's what happens because by Mallory Heyer shooting the three, Kiara Wheeler was pulled way out to the three-point line. She's their leading rebounder. She's nowhere near the paint because Heyer is able to shoot that shot.
Wheeler's led the conference in rebounds for 2 years in a row. She has just under 15 per night so far this year. She's definitely a big presence out there. Definitely the biggest that Chaska's seen all year. Relaford dishes it in for a 2 for Cooper, and they pull it back to 1 score.
It was really nice ball movement, and there's a nice look ahead, too, from Sanders.
Sanders up to Willems straight away. That one's just off. Rebound by Wheeler for Cooper. Relaford will slow things up here as the Hawks set something up top. Tribble, the senior, will take over for point on this one. Wheeler now
look
outside
at that. Heyer with the
steal.
quick hands.
Heyer to Willems for 2, and Chaska's up 11-7. Hawks work very well off turnovers, and they turn teams over a lot. And for a team coach as well as Tara Seifert has this Hawks team, I mean, that's something that you can come to expect. Driving in is Relaford, and she goes high up off the window for 2.
Yeah, Relaford did a nice job, too, of turning the corner and accelerating. That's a tough play to defend.
Heyer outside. She tried to get it over for co-captain Kaylee Van Epps, and it was just out of the reach of the senior. And Chaska will make a few changes. We'll see Ashley Schulke in for the first time tonight, as well as Kayla Hendrickson. Hendrickson, a senior on this Chaska roster. Schulke, just a sophomore, but both players obviously have a lot of experience, as Schulke got in quite a few minutes last year as a freshman even, and Hendrickson's seen her fair share now in her final year as a Hawk. Going up, block called, and they'll get Kendall Carmen, and Cooper players slow to get up.
Yeah, that's Tribble, and she hit some defenders really hard. And I think she basically went in 1-on-4. Not the smartest move, but if you're determined and you're willing to take on the contact, then, I mean, she got the result that she wanted, which is to end up at the free throw line.
Chance to tie the game, more importantly for Cooper here, and she has 2 free throws ahead of her after getting up a little gingerly. First one is good from Tribble. She averages just under 18 a game. Matches her average from last year as well. She was Cooper's leading scorer just a year ago. Has a season-high 27 against St. Louis Park, and she has 1 more free throw and ties the game with it.
Do you will you go to other gyms?
We used to.
Not this year?
Not this year due to COVID. Nope. Back.
I was just going to ask you about the atmosphere, and if this is pretty standard. I would imagine it is. Everybody's capped.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, there's a 150 spectator limit, and I know some school districts like ours are doing just 2 per player.
Yeah, we're well under that.
Yep. Definitely a different vibe as Hendrickson pulls up from the wing and buries it. The senior for 3.
Beautiful shot from Kayla Hendrickson, and a really quick release, too. And Sanders kind of made that whole play happen when she dribbled along the baseline. It is not easy to see players spotted up for 3 when you're on the baseline and you're defended. Sanders did.
Relaford on the far side. She's shut down by Hendrickson. This Chaska team, as we've alluded to a few times, plays very stout defense. One of the many.
Yeah, really impressive so far in the first half. That's what Coach Seifert said was the most improved part of her team that she could tell so far. Lopsided games. Nice rebound by Heyer, good position. But when I asked her, like, do you even know what you have in this team? And she said, well, I've seen them play before, obviously, so I know that our biggest growth has been defensively.
Down low, Heyer contested, couldn't get it to fall. Cooper throws it away, though, underneath, and Chaska will have an offensive baseline inbound.
And those are some of the moves that Heyer is going to be forced to make in a game like this if they feed her on the post like that, because she has been getting position on Wheeler, but it's not easy to always get around when you have position.
Definitely the toughest post competition Chaska has seen this year.
Oh, good deflection defensively by Schulke.
Schulke inside, sends it back out for Carmen, though. Now Sanders will pull it out and reset. Hawks swing it around to Heyer on the wing for 3, and that's perfect.
Yes. Gorgeous shot. Man, was that ever soft. That's the part of her game that she's been working on, too. And we talked about it before. When Heyer can hit that shot, it pulls Wheeler out so far, and even if she misses, now you have the best rebounder nowhere near the paint.
Wheeler going down against Hire on the other end. She's unsuccessful, though. Gets her own rebound, tries again, and gets fouled.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be on Hire, and her arms were straight up, but then when Wheeler made her move, Hire kind of made that pike position, and that's the one that referees will get you almost every time.
Second, they actually get Carmen on the foul, so it's her second, saves Hire a foul. And Kira Wheeler, the senior for Robbinsdale Cooper.
So I take back everything I said about that pike position.
Well, you might have still been right.
And from our vantage point, we could not see where Kendall Carmen came in.
You're certainly used to being down on the court level, as are we, but due to COVID, we are now up here. So
not this year, though.
No.
I am
suppose
up top,
it's true,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, we're basically concourse level over at Target Center, or play-by-play, an analyst, and we are, everybody's adjusting. We're learning something totally new.
9:34 here from Chaska High School left in the first half. We'll be back with more from the Hawks and Marney Gellner after this on WatchCHBN.com. Back from Chaska High School, Ryan, Paul, Marney, Gellner with you here. Watch CHBN.com. Hawks have an early advantage on the Cooper Hawks. Top matchup here in the Metro West Conference tonight. Hendrickson for her second try of the game, and she's 2 for 2.
Nice shot from the corner. Now here comes the full court press from Chaska.
8-point advantage for Chaska out of the timeout called by Cooper coach Raheem Simmons in his second year at the helm for Cooper. Outside for number 4, Isabella Hall, the sophomore. Tribble. Foul before she got the pass away, and they say Chaska was grabbing in the paint. Inbound pass coming underneath.
And I think for people just watching at home, if you like to kind of pick apart a basketball game, to just kind of watch the post matchup with Wheeler and Hire, even when they don't have the ball. Obviously she does now, and here comes that backing down. Hire got her pushed under the hoop. That's about as good as you can do. But, man, Wheeler, that's a tough angle to make that shot from. She is really athletic and strong.
Wheeler had 23 games in double figures last year as a junior, so she has shown that she can score. Hire going back up once again. That was a little bit too heavy. Cooper within 6 and a chance to pull it within 1 score. 8:24 to play here, first half. Kiara Wheeler off to the junior Igarigay. Now back up top for Tribble. Guarded by the sophomore Sanders.
And stolen by the sophomore Sanders. Oh, nice look. Nice pass.
All the way ahead to Hire for 2. We will see that quite often, as we have many times this year already in these Chaska girls games, is Kennedy Sanders to Mallory Hire.
Go ahead. I thought you were done. I was watching. I can't see your mouth, so I don't know when you're done talking. I was watching your last broadcast when you had Blake Herring on and set the bar very high for me. A nice move from Sanders. There was a pass in particular on the fast break from Kennedy Sanders to Mallory Hire, and you could almost see the flames on the back of that ball. She rifled one, and it was probably from maybe even inside half court. It wasn't a full court pass by any means. It was incredible. And I even looked like Hire kind of looked back at her like, holy cow, did you throw that? Did I catch that? But I just think Sanders, the way she sees the court and her athleticism and the zip she puts on some of these passes is really impressive.
Wheeler called for a double dribble, but to that point, Marnie, these Chaska girls have been playing together for a ton of years. I mean, Kennedy Sanders played since she was an 8th grader. Van Epps was in the high school program as a 7th grader. I mean, and the AAU ball, too. These girls play with each other a lot.
Yeah, and that kind of talent in one community is just astounding to me. I just feel like some of these teams that are loaded like this, there's higher, nice touch with the left hand. But to have a Division I player in your program is really special.
Yep.
When you have multiple and then more coming up behind them, it's almost stunning to me. And that's what this program has. I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Minot, North Dakota. We had maybe one Division I player coming out of my small high school in 15 years. And they've got multiple on the court tonight.
Yep. Kaylee Van Epps, the senior, will be headed to Lehigh next year. Down low, Hendrickson.
Oh, that's a good look.
The recipient of a Willems pass, and Kelsey Willems to that point will be headed to Augustana next year. So, and obviously Sanders has yet to make her college decision, only a sophomore. But Marney, obviously a lot of talent going on to the next level after playing for Coach Seifert tonight. Hawks are quickly up 14 here on Robbinsdale Cooper.
Yeah, this has been a really nice stretch. And I remember just a couple of minutes ago you said Cooper the basketball, chance to cut it to a one-possession game, and that now we look up and Chaska's got some breathing room. And it happens quickly, too, because this team is quick. They have the height and the size, but when you have the height of like a Kendall Carmen and a Mallory Heyer, and they are as fast as they are, and they can put on a full court press, they can break a full court press, they can have end-to-end layups. Man, that just like look at these first two players down the court, running the court. Heyer was right step in step with Willems. That really gives you a lot of options.
Heyer from the corner, left it short, but she's there for her own rebound. Van Epps now back out on the near wing. Face guarded by Tribble. Sanders with it, takes the paint. Contact, and they call a charge. They say Andrea Tribble, the senior, was set up in position. And Kennedy Sanders guilty of the charge.
That's a tough call, too. And we don't have the replay machine here, do we, Ryan?
No,
I'm just
not
leaning
tonight.
over looking
Not
for
tonight.
that. Because the block charge is such a tough call to make. And a lot of times when you see it in slow motion replay, it looks totally different than when you thought you saw it. This is going to be tough for Cooper. They got to get the ball in bounds here. Chaska's all over these.
They do just barely get it in. Wheeler sends it ahead for McCarthy, who misses her lay-in. There's a scrum for it in the paint. Finally, Van Epps comes away with it and gets fouled.
Yeah, Chaska slapped on that full court press, and Cooper only had one inbounder and one player to bring the ball up and didn't react quickly enough, and that just led to all kinds of trouble, and ultimately the Van Epps steal and the foul.
28-15 here with 5.5 to play in half number one. Down low, Carmen dishes outside. Hawks swing it around to Schulke in the corner. In the paint, Carmen. Finally, Schulke finds herself open. Forced it a little bit, and it just goes long, and Cooper comes away with the basketball.
Good defensive possession by Cooper, but really good ball movement by Chaska. I know they didn't get the shot they wanted, but they were really picking it and moving it around and trying to get the look.
Hall with the hesitation, threw up an awkward-looking shot, and Chaska comes away with that rebound.
Yeah, good solid position, too, for Heyer on that rebound.
Van Epps double team just off the front iron. Chaska comes up empty. Tribble with the full head of steam, and she's swatted by Heyer.
The timing on that block, wow, that was really impressive.
I mean, what can't Mallory Heyer do? I mean, we've seen her score both inside and out. We've seen her play defense and now in transition. You
know, I've seen her struggle in a TikTok dance.
Oh, geez.
And I'm not kidding you. Her youngest sister, and my daughter play on the same 5th grade team. And her younger sister and my daughter are really close friends. They spend a lot of time together, and they may or may not do a lot of TikToks.
What else are you going to fill your time during COVID with?
I mean, at least they're active. At least they're active, and sometimes they get the older siblings to join in.
Kendall Carmen on the other end had a beautiful turnaround with the right. Chaska back up 15 now. Hall Cross court,
Oh,
dribble. Nice move. Couldn't finish, though. Down low, Wheeler cleans up for Cooper, however.
Yeah, Tribble with that first step. That was a really quick first step to make that whole play happen.
Hawks down low, higher quickly against Wheeler.
Good, strong move.
Relaford
we are racing
pushing,
here.
absolutely.
Boy, the pace for
Tribble.
both teams.
Schulke on the baseline. She's cut down by Hall. Good battle down low. Higher has it now. Missed opportunity for Chaska, and we have a whistle on the floor. And a timeout's called by Robbinsdale Cooper with 3:25 to go. We'll step aside momentarily from Chaska High School. It's 32-17. Chaska up early on Cooper. Back from Chaska High School, 3:25 to play here, first half. Coming out of Cooper's second timeout, Marney, an impressive start for the Chaska Hawks so far tonight.
It really has been, and this is the first test of the season for Chaska. And it was neck and neck here for the first 6 minutes of this game, really, and then Chaska kind of opened things up on this run and got some separation, and really it started on the defensive end. This has been a really impressive half-court defense. Sometimes they slap on the press, but Cooper's having a tough time just getting organized and running things. And even this possession, this is a long possession for Cooper. Hardly anybody in the lane until right here, and then you get a shot like that.
Relaford forced one from about 10 feet, and Chaska comes up with the basketball higher.
Oh.
Back to Carmen down low. She's swatted at. Wheeler comes away with the ball, but a whistle. We have Anna Lenzen on the court for the first time tonight, the 5'9" sophomore.
Are they going to call that on Carmen?
I believe they got Lenzen, actually. And it is the 7th on Chaska. So Cooper will shoot 1-1 here in high school basketball. Bonus is 7, obviously different than what you're used to.
Yeah. No, had you not said that, I would not have realized. I'm watching 5th grade and 7th grade basketball and then NBA. Nothing really in between.
It's probably tough to compare there.
What are we? Oh, is this just her? This
just
is
a
just
routine,
a routine.
I
Okay.
think.
Is there a time limit to shoot a free throw in high school?
I think 10 seconds sounds about right.
I didn't see anybody counting.
No good on the front end of the 1-1, though. So Chaska comes away up 32-17. Waning minutes of this first half. Van Epps drives.
Nice
She's been quiet so far tonight, but that was a fantastic move all the way down
Really nice
the
take.
lane.
That's tough to go with the left hand, too. That was really nice from Kaylee Van Epps.
Van Epps, 13.2 per night. Average just under 13 as a sophomore. Willems with the steal and was stripped. Ball will stick with the Hawks down low.
And a decent defensive play, too, by Cooper. That was a
Right.
2-on-1 for Chaska. So to force the Hawks to take it out of bounds was success. Look out.
Higher from downtown, just a bit long. Rebound offensively, though, by Carmen. Back outside. Willems fires and hits.
That was nice. That is a really quick release, too. Just that quick snap before any defender could really react. Boy, they got a lot of nice three-point shooting on
Absolutely.
this Chaska team.
Wheeler comes all the way from the timeline down to the hole and is fouled. More free throws for the Cooper senior.
You got someone barreling into the lane like that. It's tough defensively to step in and take a charge or
Right. And it's
try to swat it away, try to defend it. pick your poison.
Like I said, Chaska hasn't seen a lot of size like Wheeler has this year, and it's definitely something that they're going to see moving forward more so in these non-conference games that they have, especially Minnetonka on Friday. But it's going to be a fun stretch of the season for Chaska now, coming down into the second half of conference play and seeing more of these 5-6 non-conference games that the Hawks will face, and then they go into section play facing one of the toughest sections in the state, Eden Prairie, Minnetonka, Edina. All those teams are in their way from a state tournament. Obviously, as Marney said earlier, Chaska trying to get back to the state tournament for the first time since 2010. Higher down low against the Wheeler. This one's no good. Lenzen down there scrapping for the rebound. Tribble's the one who comes away with it, though, for Cooper. Into the corner. Hall, a long two-pointer. It looked pretty flat, and it's just off the front iron. Rebound back to Chaska. Under 90 seconds to play here first half.
And no matter who is bringing up the ball for Chaska in this paced offense, everyone dribbles head up. Everyone is looking for the next player ahead and to advance the ball and to get it either across half court as quickly as possible, or better yet, to get a layup. But it doesn't matter who gets the rebound. There's a rebound, outlet, and then it's off to the races. And everybody has that same intention.
Blake Herring said it a couple times last time. I think it was Friday we did the game together. And I mean, obviously for you, Marney, having a fifth grader, for young youth basketball players, this is a team that you really want to watch and just study. And
even that right there, that ball movement, that from Kaylee Van Epps to see Mallory Heyer. Van Epps is down on the post. She's got defenders around her, and she had her head up the whole time, and she saw Heyer, who also saw Schulke on the baseline in the corner. I mean, it's like vision all the way around, and then constantly you're just going to deal with Wheeler the entire game.
35 seconds left here in this first half, and Chaska still up 20 after the Wheeler bucket. Van Epps with the left-handed floater, no good. Rebound by Cooper, but it's quickly stolen away again by Schulke. Heyer couldn't handle the pass. Rips it away and resets for Chaska. 18 seconds left here, first half. A steal. Tribble.
Oh, how'd she keep that alive? Oh, my goodness.
Fight for it on the floor, and the ball finally goes out of bounds, and the clock will stop with 8 seconds left. They'll say Chaska
that was
have the ball.
Frantic possession.
Good hustle by both teams.
I don't know how Willems kept her dribble.
Tribble with the nice steal, and now Relaford playing good defense, and Willems with the presence of mind to put the ball on the floor when she was getting up, and now we do have a foul on Relaford with 4 seconds to go here in the first half.
See if the Hawks can get off a nice shot here before halftime.
3 seconds. Schulke's going to fire from the wing and bank it in at the horn.
Look at her face. She couldn't believe it.
Ashley Schulke, the sophomore, banks one in at halftime, and Chaska up 23 on the number 12 ranked team in the class.
Well, that's the way to go into halftime. That gives you a little punch.
If you weren't excited already, I'd say the first 18 minutes for the Hawks went extremely well. Marney, first half thoughts and second half expectations for this one.
Well, that was a really impressive half. It was fast-paced. It was entertaining, and I think now Chaska's comfortable. Although you never want to get too comfortable, but I think building a little separation is exactly what the Hawks were looking for. But don't settle in the second half.
Absolutely.
What's the halftime entertainment tonight, Ryan?
I think you're looking at it right now.
This empty court?
Not a whole lot, yeah. With COVID and everything, you're not going to get the weekend, I'll tell you that much. Definitely no blinding lights tonight. That's
all right. Hey, we're here. We're here and we're watching basketball.
Absolutely.
I will take it.
And we're glad you're sharing part of your Tuesday night with us here on the Chaska Hawks Broadcast Network as I drop my clipboard. But we will step aside for just a few minutes at halftime. The Hawks are up 23 on Cooper. Back at Chaska High School, Hawks and Hawks tonight, and Chaska has the 23-point lead after 18 minutes, Marnie.
It was a pretty, oh, here we go. It was an impressive first half for Chaska, and I really thought it was fueled on the defensive end, and then the offense kind of got running, and the pace for both teams was really good up and down, but this is a really comfortable position for Chaska to be in at halftime, although you don't want to be too comfortable in the second half when you're finally getting your first challenge of the season.
Hawks spreading the ball early, as they usually do. Mallory Hire leads with 14 points, but 5 other players have scored for Chaska. The senior Kayla Hendrickson had 2 big three-pointers and has 8 points after 18 minutes. I mean, Chaska's spreading the ball around really well.
And it's clear that Hire has been a focus in the offense, and she's taken the bulk of the shots. But you're right, there have been some big threes. There have been some nice fast break plays. There's just been a lot of good spread out weapons so that Cooper can't really focus on one player and shut Chaska down. There have been outlets at different times and different people carrying the team throughout the first half.
On the other side of the court, Cooper, only 3 players have scored. Kiara Wheeler has 12 points and leads their team. The other 2 scorers have 8 points combined.
And Wheeler's really going to be an issue all night because she's just a tough matchup, and she's so athletic and she's so strong, and she just wants to back players down. And so if Cooper can get her the ball in the right position, it's just really hard for Chaska to deal with. But as long as the Chaska Hawks don't get into foul trouble, then Wheeler's going to be able to score some points, and it's not going to affect the outcome of the game.
It's a 23-point lead for Chaska on number 12 ranked Cooper. We have about a minute and a half before we get back to action here. Ryan Paul, Fox Sports North, Marney Gellner with us. We have the second half coming up right after this.
Go Hawks.
Back from Chaska High School with Fox Sports North, Marney Gellner. Glad you've joined us here. Back in action, Hawks. Chaska Hawks, that is, hold
nice
a 23-point lead, make it 25 right out the bat. Higher to Van Apps for 2, and Chaska comes out firing 10 seconds into the second half.
And that's a play that the Chaska Hawks probably talked about at halftime. This is going to be our first designed play of the second half, and it was a higher pass to a cutting Van Apps, and a really nicely executed. And plays like that out of halftimes, out of timeouts, they're a sign of a really good, disciplined team that's paying attention to the details because they ran it perfectly. Whatever it was, however Tara drew it up on her board, I'm guessing that Chaska executed that to a T.
Carmen into the corner for Van Apps, who was held to just 2 points in the first half. She had a quiet bucket late in the half as Carmen has it stolen away from her. Driving down is number 23, Igirage. Chaska comes up after the empty possession, though. Sanders, the floater, high, oof. No good.
Put the right touch on it, though. Nice soft touch.
Chaska with a strong first half, coming out with the only bucket here so far in the second half. 25-point lead on number 12 ranked Cooper. Chaska 6-0, Cooper 7-0. Chaska's first non-conference game this Friday. Cooper has already played 2 non-conference games. 1-1 in that stint. Down low, Wheeler has it blocked by Hire. It goes out of bounds, and Cooper will have it, but it's a good block by Chaska's junior, Mallory Hire.
Yep, that's another case of Wheeler just trying to back down Hire, and Hire got a piece of it. And Wheeler kind of has that shimmy. She has a little bit of a left and a right and some athleticism to her.
Chaska pushing. Hire down low. Back out.
Look.
Willems just short.
Hire
Rebound.
passing out of a double team is just a smart play, and then a nice steal by Willems. Good anticipation.
Hawks get it back. Elbow jumper coming from Carmen, and she knocks it down.
Kendall Carmen is valuable to this team, and it doesn't always show up because she scores 15 points a game or anything like that. I think you said she had 2 or 3 in the first half, Ryan?
Yep.
Scores this bucket here, but look at how much she plays. Look at how well she plays on the defensive end. And I'll say this, she is a heck of a softball player.
Yes.
She has been one of those players that works with some of the younger kids in the summertime. My daughter has taken some pitching lessons from Kendall. And just like a lot of the girls on this team, the relationship that you have with the younger people in this community is how you build a consistent, deep, winning year after year program. And this is a perfect example. There was a game here, I'm going to say maybe 2 weeks ago, and my daughter was practicing in the back gym here at Chaska High School, along with Mallory Ayer's little sister. And they end practice. They come through here, through the main gym, and they can stand and watch for just a couple of minutes. They're not allowed to stay and watch the game. But so my daughter's watching the game quickly, and Kendall Carmen made a shot in a game, and my daughter said, my daughter cheered, yelled, "Yeah, Kendall!" And she said Kendall pointed up at her.
Oh,
my
awesome.
daughter ran out to the car. Nice three-point shot, Van Epps from the corner. I picked my daughter up from practice. She and a neighbor who were on the same team. They ran into the car. "Mom, Kendall Carmen made a shot," and we cheered super loud for her.
Awesome.
She pointed up at us.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's all she did was point up and acknowledge two little 10-year-old girls, and they had the time of their lives. That's all they could talk about for the rest of the night.
Kendall definitely comes from a great family. I know her dad, Jason, well. Had worked together organizing softball tournaments for many years. As Van Epps drives once again, and her second half is off to a hot start. She gets a chance for an and one here, as Chaska is quickly up 30 now.
Excellent gather by Van Epps, too, as the defender was right in the middle of the lane, and she just kind of picked up that dribble and gave her the 1-2 and up and under and got that roll.
3-point play is converted. Under 15 to play. Chaska still will be pressing here. Going to try to get as much work in here tonight before they host a very talented Minnetonka team this coming Friday. Frazier, check that. It's Relaford who drives. Loose ball in the paint. Wheeler finally has it. She sends it over for Igarigay. Her jumper's no good. Still on the floor. Wheeler finds herself alone for two.
And this is probably one of the defensive possessions that Chaska is going to want to take a look at and learn from, because even before the hoop happened, just the initial drive, Chaska was caught way off in the defensive. I don't know what the defensive plan was, or if somebody missed on a screen or something, but the Chaska defense, very rarely tonight have we seen it not in the right position, and that was on that possession.
Heyer forgot to put the ball down, gets called for a travel. We'll see Schulke come in and replace Kaylee Van Epps, who has a quick 6 or 7 points here to start this second half. She gets a breath of fresh air, and the sophomore will come in and take her place. Cooper looking for a spark here. Been down double digits ever since probably close to the 5-minute mark of that first half, when Chaska really started to take over.
And I think only had 20 points at halftime, right?
Yes.
So it's only been 4, and there's a steal by Carmen.
Carmen comes up with the basketball, stops up short, hands it off for her point guard Sanders in the corner, who fires and buries it. Silky smooth stroke from Kennedy Sanders. And
with defense around as well, she made that shot in some traffic, buried in the deep corner there.
Another
Good
steal for Chaska. Hawks have a 2-on-1. Sanders drives, and she's hacked by Relaford going up, and 2 free throws for the Chaska sophomore.
And this is something I asked Coach Seifert about on Sunday when we had a little chat, was Kennedy Sanders and just her athletic ability and her growing from a freshman to a sophomore. And Seifert said that one of the real differences in Kennedy Sanders is her ability to keep her balance. Like after that shot, she took contact, which she's not afraid to do. She drove the lane, which she's not afraid to do. But in years past, a lot of times she would end up on the floor, and she's just better at keeping her balance, better, stronger, as any of us get as we grow into our bodies. And
not
she's
afraid
been
of
able
contact.
No, not at all. But to be able to land on your feet
Right.
more often than not has just been one of the improvements. Look at that steal.
Ball in the paint. Kennedy Sanders with a phenomenal steal and presence of mind to throw it back into the court, and Chaska's unable to come away with it, though. Cooper down big here, has to get something going. Relaford can't find it. Cooper still with only 4 points in the second half, and Schulke has 3 around her and draws a foul.
Cooper's getting a little tired out, too. This is a really hectic pace.
Well, unlike Chaska, Cooper's a team that does not go very deep. Coach Raheem Simmons, he's only, this is going to be 7 deep here as Victoria Dalton, the freshman, comes in for the first time tonight. But, the only other bench player we saw was Isabella Hall so far. Otherwise, they've gone with their starting 5 the whole night.
Yep, when you play a team like Chaska that's going to run and you start getting girls that are winded, you got to find a way to give them a breather.
Sanders connects from the wing. Hawks starting to run away with this one even more.
Kennedy Sanders has hit those 2 3-pointers, both from that side of the court, one right on the baseline and that one from the wing.
Tribble running the one here for Cooper. Hall with it. Up top for Dalton. Pull up from 3, no good for Igarigay, and Chaska comes away yet again. Cooper cold shooting so far in this start of the second half. Sanders coast to coast for 2.
Took the contact, stayed on her feet. And another thing that Tara Seifert said is that at practice a lot, she will put, if they're doing drills, she will purposely put Kaylee Van Epps guarding Kennedy Sanders because Kaylee is a really good defender. She's bigger, and so that makes Sanders better. Good block by Mallory Heyer, but she couldn't get the possession. So second chance, Wheeler puts it in.
Hawks push once again. Sanders to who else but Heyer.
And to finish my thought, that makes Kennedy Sanders a better player because of her teammate. There, she picked somebody's pocket there, and she's pushing the pace.
Sanders going to go to the hole again. High off the window, halfway down, but didn't fall. And 2 free throws for the Hawks.
Look at the
sophomore.
reaction of the bench, Ryan. How there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 girls all jumped up out of their chairs. It is 64-26, and they are jumping up out of their chairs because of the move that Kennedy Sanders just made and the possibility of finishing off a basket like that. That's a team that is genuinely connected and pulling for each other and not looking at the score, just continually wanting to be better and make good plays.
65-26, the margin right now. Hawks on pace.
So
on pace for that 40.
Do the math. What is the run so far since halftime? Was it 43-20? I don't know what the halftime score.
43-20, I believe. You're right. So 13,
23.
Yeah,
6.
Yeah.
23-6 out of the gates in the second half.
I'll make a joke about my math there. As Zach Halverson would say White Bear math. I'll say Chaska math. You obviously a valued member of the Power Trip Morning Show tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'll be there
you got
tomorrow
an early morning
7 a.m.
tomorrow. Yeah. Marney Gellner from Fox Sports North and the Power Trip Morning Show tomorrow morning. We'll be right back from Chaska High School. Back from Chaska. Ryan Paul, Marney Gellner with you. 11:39 reads the clock, and Chaska's up 66-26.
And right into a full court press, tipped away by Kennedy Sanders.
Sanders the steal and the recovery. She dishes out baseline for Dardis, who just came into the game. Ball is tapped out of bounds. They're going to send it down Cooper's way. That's Lucy Dardis, number 13, the junior. Seen court time in all 6 games so far. And
how locked in is this Chaska team, though? They're coming out of timeouts like that in a full court press, exactly where they need to be with the energy they need to have in a game that they're up by 40 points.
Hawks wanted an offensive foul against Wheeler. They thought she pushed off against Heyer. Whistles stay silent, though. Relaford near side now for Igarigay. Down low for Pauline McCarthy. McCarthy up with the left. That was well off, and Heyer there for the rebound. Sanders pushes for Chaska.
Oh, my.
Full head of steam off the left. Kennedy Sanders continues to impress here.
The handle, left, right, weaving, just finding her way, picking her spots. That was really impressive. She is so athletic.
Hall for Cooper, sends it back up for Wheeler now. Hawks holding teams to just 33 points a night. Cooper approaching that mark here as Wheeler banks it in from about 10 feet for 2. Heyer down low off the feet from Dardis.
And I was watching Mallory Heyer that entire possession, and she had that same angle on Wheeler from about the half-court line. She put her arm up like she would have been ready on the fast break, but she didn't have much of a margin. That's going to be a foul on Dardis. But Heyer she just kept that position all the way through the lane, and somebody just finally gave it to her, and she just turned the corner.
Chaska will bring some more reserves in here with 10:19 to go, and Mallory Heyer will exit along with Kennedy Sanders. Their nights are presumably over with, and yet another very impressive night from those two young Hawks.
Yeah, this team is absolutely loaded. It's so fun to watch them in person. It's always fun to watch them on the Chaska Hawks Broadcast Network, but it's a real treat to see them in person. And I will say that there were a couple of girls this summer, Mallory Heyer and Kaylee Van Epps, held little, I don't know what we're going to, workouts, 1 hour workouts in Kaylee Van Epps' sport court at her house outside. And this was in like June, July when COVID kind of, oh, what a pass. Oh, my goodness.
Feed from Niebuhr to Lenzen for 2.
That was nice.
That was impressive.
But as we are just kind of going into this lockdown and wondering what are we doing, and the girls aren't really playing anything, there's no sports going on, Mallory Heyer and Kaylee Van Epps somehow decide that they'd like to just give some lessons to grade school girls. They sent out an email with a sign-up sheet, and they did like 4 hours, 3 or 4 days a week. They had little freezy pops. After each session, we paid just a couple of bucks, and they did it because there was nothing else going on, and they love to give back to this program. And so now you're getting these younger girls. We were outside. We were safe. We were on a sport court. It was just incredible.
That's fantastic, and it says a lot about this Chaska girls basketball community and what these young girls have been raised to be.
And that's it, community. That's really the word, because now you get people tied into your program. You get them caring about your program. You get them coming to games in a normal season. Mm-hmm. You get girls that want to stay in basketball, so then when they get to this level, that almost went down for Anna Lenzen. But that's probably where these players were when they were in 5th grade, 6th grade, whatever it was. Well, who did they have to mentor them and to pay attention to them and to work their basketball camps?
Absolutely.
That's where it starts, and that's how you end up with deep teams like this.
Exactly. You see it's paying off here, Chaska. I mean, with such dominance, up 40 points here on Cooper tonight, the number 12 ranked team in the state. Cooper coming down off the steal. Relaford sends it back outside for Hall, who takes the paint, and she's bumped by Lenzen, her second foul of the night. And Kaylee Van Epps will enter back here with just under 8:30 to go, and we have entered running time now as the mercy rule is in effect. 40-point lead. When
you say Cooper is the 12th ranked team in the state, where is Chaska in that
Number
poll?
3.
Number 3. So are the polls come out every week? I assume
I believe it's every Monday.
Every Monday. So this coming Monday, does Chaska move up, do you think?
It's going to be very dependent on
Friday's game against Minnetonka.
Friday's game,
What's Minnetonka ranked?
I would say they're in the top 10 for sure.
Do you know who's 1 and 2?
I have to check back on the most recent rankings. I can't say for the most recent rankings. Hopkins definitely up there. I would say Eden Prairie is definitely up there probably.
And Eden Prairie is who Chaska lost to in
the
game
season,
to go to state.
Right?
Okay, so that team is backloaded again. That was a really nice move by Wheeler to turn to that. Her left shoulder like that.
That's why, we say this a lot with the boys team too, where when you play in a conference like the Metro West that doesn't give you a whole lot of competitive games, it's so important to have a loaded non-conference schedule, especially down the stretch, because you get into the Section 2-4A when you're playing all these, local talented Eden Prairies, Edinas, Minnetonkas.
Yes.
And you see, completely different style of basketball than what you see here in the Metro West. So that's why you see Tara Seifert here and the girls team just load the non-conference schedule.
Yeah, and you have to. That's a really responsible thing for the coach to do, because sure, you can have a great record. You can roll in undefeated into your tournament play, but if you haven't played anyone and then all of a sudden you meet tough competition and it's a stressful game, and how do you handle that?
Yep.
You need to be tested somewhere along the way.
Along those lines, a quick programming/scheduling note, Chaska versus Hopkins, which was originally scheduled for March 5th, has been moved the day earlier, a Thursday, March 4th. So mark that on your calendars, Hawks fans. Down low, Niebuhr tried to go off the glass, but ball is kept in bounds as Wheeler saves it for Cooper, and with 6:26 to play, here comes the Hawks and Andrea Tribble.
What is the reason for the schedule change?
Because Chaska plays Waconia plays on Saturday against Waconia, and
good steal.
Wanted to eliminate the back-to-back.
Lily Niebuhr with the steal. junior, transfer from Jordan. Right?
I believe so.
Got that right.
Lenzen, the free throw line floater, no good. Rebound down there by Carmen, who puts it back up.
Nice. I'm going to cheer and see if she points up at me.
You'll have to go home and tell your daughter that. Is your daughter watching tonight? I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, she does. She's not. I was thinking, is she watching me? That she has zero interest in that, but she does. We do have a lot of these games on.
Yeah.
She had a little Zoom basketball session tonight. Her head coach is a Chaska alum, Hall of Famer, Emily Welter.
Oh yeah,
Emily Rome.
Absolutely. Proud sponsor of the Chaska Hawks.
Yeah, thank you, Rome
yes.
Realty,
for
your time serving the Chaska Hawks Broadcast Network. So
Certainly.
we're in pretty good shape here in the 5th grade. I just do the math to know the time to expect this 5th grade team to be sophomores and juniors, but that'll be a time.
Class of 2028 or whatever. Maybe a little.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to do that math.
I actually don't know, but that's a good little class.
Yeah. Definitely, as we've been talking about here tonight, a lot of bright futures here in this Chaska girls basketball program, as Willems will check out, as well as Carmen. So Chaska with all the reserves in, with the exception of Van Epps, who's on the floor right now. Steele.
Wheeler's down. She's holding her left ankle.
But yes, an injured Cooper Hawk, and that would be a very big loss for Robbinsdale Cooper if we have to see Kiara Wheeler exit the game, and we will step aside here with 4:27 to play from Chaska High School. Back from Chaska High School, 4:27 to go. Waning minutes of Marney Gellner's debut appearance here on the Chaska Hawks Broadcast Network. Always great to hear from you and finally be able to have you here join us for some high school girls basketball.
First time, long time, Ryan.
Yes. Obviously, a very busy schedule. A lot on your plate.
Yeah, when we were trying to figure out a game that would work, this was the only one in my schedule when the Hawks were playing at home and the Timberwolves were not playing. The NBA has absolutely jam-packed things in. This Wolves just finished 5 games in 7 nights, and they're about to start another one. It's fast and furious, but I am so thankful that we have games.
Can also find you tomorrow morning, bright and early, on KFAN Power Trip Morning Show with all those characters. And,
yes, my buddies.
Yeah.
My buddies, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. every Wednesday.
Great block by Lenzen, sending Victoria Dalton's shot back, and the Cooper Hawks get called for a foul. What a play by the Chaska sophomore, Anna Lenzen.
And you love to see that, too, when your subs are in and you're deep into your bench and you're still seeing this kind of intensity and effort on the court.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those 7 a.m. shifts get a little hard when the Timberwolves are playing a West Coast game, maybe a 9:30 start, and I'm getting home at 1 o'clock in the morning. And
yep. Oh, those clowns will definitely wake you up. Those 7 a.m. pizzas that they cook up.
That's regular, yeah. About 7:20, but
yeah.
Jessica Higher,
no good on the turnaround. There's under 3 minutes to play here in running time. When's the next Timberwolves game when fans can find you?
Tomorrow night, LA Clippers at Target Center. And then the NBA only released the first half of the season. The Wolves' final game of the first half is, I think, March 3rd or 4th? March 4th?
Yep.
We have no idea beyond then when we're working. There's supposed to be about a 5-day break for, I think, the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Originally, they said just a break, which would normally be an All-Star break.
Right.
Then no team has the second half schedule yet.
Interesting.
But I think they needed to work in small increments and make sure they could get as far as they did. And you see the trouble the Wild are having in the NHL. And it's so bizarre because the NBA is operating exactly the same.
Yeah.
They're going to the same cities. They're traveling just the same. And I don't know. This is just such a strange season for every sport at every level. I mean, we're watching high school girls play with masks on their faces, but they're playing. You know, I asked Tara Seifert about that too, just how it's been handled and what the reception has been, and she said, you know what, we got a lot of complainers in this world, and so I said, we're not complaining about this. We are allowed to play basketball, and the way that we're playing basketball is they're asking us to wear masks. So guess what? We're going to wear masks, and we're going to get on the court and play.
And I've called a fair amount of games now in the COVID-19 era, and I must say that the Chaska girls program is probably the best at complying with that. So
well, it doesn't do you any good. This is the same conversation we've had with our 5th grader and our 7th grader at home, is that yes, playing with a mask is not easy, and if you need to complain about it, you can do it to us once in a while, but other than that, this is the only way. What good does it do?
Right.
What good does it do to fight this system, because you ain't going to win.
Right.
So let's just buck up and play.
Right. And just be thankful that you are playing, which we're very thankful.
Right. We're doing this broadcast right now wearing masks.
Right.
But guess what? We're doing a broadcast.
Yep. A lot of, we've mentioned it a couple times here on CHBN so far this year, but a lot of great work. Athletic Director John Summers put in a lot of work to putting in not only this winter season, but obviously we had some fall sports. A lot of people to be thankful for, including each other in these times as we go under 30 seconds here. Chaska with a strong handle on Cooper here. They come away with the basketball, though. That's
shoot.
Blocked by Niebuhr, but they called a foul. Nikina Stewart was going up with it, and she'll go to the free throw line for 2 with 16 ticks left.
And Niebuhr was really close to getting away with that one and just having a nice block. And she timed it well, and I think it was just that reaching over with the right hand across the defender. And had it been on the other side of the court, she probably can turn her body a little bit and not create the contact. But it's about the best she could do with it in that situation.
Hawks just shy of the 46-point margin of victory. But another dominating victory here tonight for Chaska as they go into Friday evening with a big duel with Minnetonka. And the Hawks are the Chaska Hawks are 7-0 as they down the number 12 team in the state of Minnesota, the Cooper Hawks. And Marney, your final thoughts before we say goodbye here on this Tuesday evening from Chaska High School.
Well, Chaska Hawks fans, you have yourselves a really good basketball team. And I don't just mean on the surface and the top few players. This is a deep team. The defense was incredible, especially in that first half to kind of set a tone. This is a team that I'm going to predict right here, right now, Ryan. This is a state-bound basketball team. Mark the date, mark the time. I'll see you there.
You heard it here first. The one and only Marney Gellner with the bold prediction as we say goodnight from Chaska High School. I want to thank Landon Virgin and Mike York for coming out and helping with the production. But Marney Gellner, for the first time, you have 2 opportunities to hear from her tomorrow, 7 a.m. on KFAN, 100.3 locally, Power Trip Morning Show, and then tomorrow night on Fox Sports North for the Timberwolves. Marney, thank you so much for coming on tonight. It's been a real pleasure calling tonight's game with you.
It was fun, Ryan. I'd love to do it again if we match up sometime. And in the meantime, soar Hawks.
Absolutely. Have a good night, everybody. Appreciate you joining. Tune in on Friday evening right back here. Watch CHBN. Minnetonka comes to town in the girls' matchup. Have a good night, soar Hawks.